Good morning. Today we're going to talk about what drives value for antiques. I was in Minneapolis last week taking a class from Edward Tufte, and the pitch Best of KC issue came out yesterday. We'll talk about that, all that, and a little bit more on Behind the Gavel with Jason today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Roski, the owner of the KC Auction Appraisal Company here in Kansas City, Missouri. And we do Behind the Gavel with Jason every Friday morning at 11:45, unless I'm out of town. And then we do it we sometimes skip a week, but that was unusual. Last week is in Minneapolis. I took a course by Edward Tufte who talks about data visualization and how to more easily and effectively tell stories with numbers and graphs and images. And it was very fascinating. We're going to be able to put some of those things to work for you. If you're a buyer or seller for us, we're going to be able to put some things into effect that will make our job easier, not easier, but make our job more effective, our storytelling more effective. You'll be able to tell better what we're selling, how it's being sold, and all those kinds of things. So if you're at all interested in that kind of stuff, send me a message about it. Edward was really interesting to listen to for a day, and I learned some great things from him that will really make our message more effective here on Facebook, on our website, on Instagram, and any other place that we discuss and talk with you about antiques, art, and estate items. So that was a lot of fun last week. This week has been exciting here at the office. Pitch KC, local independent magazine, has been in business for a long time. Every year does the Best of KC. We have won this award before, and we won it again this year. We won 4 of the 6 times they've had Auction House in as a title. So here's the T-shirt, the Pitch's Guide to the Gala KC, the Best of Kansas City 2019. And of course, we are the winner. So we're pretty excited about that. And it was a fun evening last night. Went to the Madrid Theater here in Kansas City to see the awards, some of them being distributed. They had a poet reading. Kansas City Symphony had a quartet there. A lot of great food, a lot of great people. Had a really fun time. Thanks to the Pitch for putting that together every year. And again, we've won Pitch Best of KC 4 out of 6 years for the Auction House division. Pretty excited and proud about that. We don't really do much to promote that. We don't really market or campaign for that. So that is all on our customers and clients voting and spreading the word to their friends. So we really appreciate the support with that, and look forward to see what happens next year. And the next thing we'll know about is how to drive value, or what drives value for antiques and art and estate items. We talk about this a lot. It's obviously a very important issue to us, to our clients, to our customers. What makes an item worth more or less than other items? There's a lot of factors. No one factor creates value in and of itself. There's usually a combination of factors involved that will drive value on your antiques and collectibles. Some things, there's an intrinsic value. Silver and gold, we've talked about that many times. If you have a sterling silver tea service, it's worth no less than the silver value itself. If you have gold jewelry, it's worth no less than the gold jewelry itself. So that is a baseline value. So we're not going to talk about that much today. We're talking about in generality what drives value in the marketplace. We find a lot of things do. Age is important, but not necessarily the end-all be-all. We have a great chest of drawers that's in the auction house right now. That part of it was made in 1797. It's signed and dated from the original craftsman. It's a great piece of furniture that was modified in the 1920s. So that's going to be an interesting thing to watch sell. And I'll probably do a video on just that over the next week or two once we get some things laid out and have a little bit more time. If you go back on our Facebook page this week, you'll see pictures of it, some conversation about it. So what drives value there? Well, age will help some because parts of that piece are well over 200 years old. The person who made that original part of that piece was alive during the Revolutionary War. I mean, think about that. Somebody who was alive during the Revolutionary War touched and used and built that piece of furniture. Really amazing to think about in that aspect. But it's been modified over the years. So age is important, but originality in this case is going to be extremely important because it's not an original chest of drawers anymore. So you have a great early portion of a piece, but it's not the exact piece. So it's not really a fake. It's not a reproduction. It's a not reattribution, but reuse. Today's parlance, reduce, reuse, recycle. This is a recycle/reuse project from 100 years ago. And you can see when you look at it how there's a couple of small drawers on top. Those were added. There's bun feet on it. Those were added. So you have parts, and nothing is newer than like 70 or 80, maybe 100 years old. But nothing is original to it as a complete piece of furniture as it sits today. It kind of looks like a Sheraton Federal style piece, but it's not there, obviously, because it's disparate pieces from different time frames. So if you had a chest of drawers from 1797 that was completely original, it might be worth $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. Now, because we have a part of a chest of drawers and parts from newer pieces, it's probably going to be worth $400, $500, or $600. So a 90% drop in value, even though parts of it are really old, over 200 years old, it really does make a huge difference. That condition and the originality makes a huge difference in that piece in particular, and that's something that we see regularly. Other things, that condition is another factor in anything that we sell. You could have a piece of glass in perfect condition worth $100. You put a chip in the top, it can be worth $10. And so, again, that 90%, if there's any of the factors not good, your value will drop generally by half immediately, and then more depending upon what the issue is. So condition is a crucial issue. Age is a part of it. Provenance is another big thing. We're selling the Michael Volbrock estate right now. We expect pieces from his estate to sell for more than similar items that are not from his estate. So we have some of the clothing he designed, the pieces for whatever reason he had something laying around his house, the beaded hot cat and mouse coat. We expect that to sell for a full retail price because it's from his estate, which makes it more valuable to a collector, maybe even a museum, or somebody who's putting together a great collection of vintage clothing, designer type pieces. So the provenance of the item adds or can subtract value from it. So condition, age, originality, provenance, those are your big issues. Usability, of course, is another big thing. We used to sell a lot of wardrobes and armoires 30 years ago, 20 years ago, as a way to hide big TVs. And so a wardrobe, a 1920s wardrobe, you could sell for $500, $600, $700 as a piece of furniture that was useful in the marketplace, because you could either look at a big bulky TV or you could look at a beautiful piece of furniture. And a lot of people chose the piece of furniture. And they were comparing that, even though you're getting $400, $500, $600 for an armoire or wardrobe, that was still less money than a comparable piece of new furniture, an entertainment cabinet, that would hold that piece of furniture. And so it was a lot of money for it at the time, but it wasn't a lot of money comparatively speaking. You also have to look at what are things priced at that are similar today. The price of furniture today is nearly identical to the price of furniture 30 years ago. I'm not talking about based on historical averages or based on the inflation or rising dollar value. I'm talking about $1,000. The price of a bedroom set was $1,000 before. That same bedroom set's $1,000 today, and it's better made today than it was then. And so, people rag on IKEA and they rag on new furniture all the time, but it's a great value. Even poorly made furniture today, because of computer technology and machines making these things, a lot of the furniture made today is structurally every bit as sound as antique pieces. And if you can buy the latest in style at favorable terms, meaning you can put it on, you can finance it through the store, you can put it on a credit card, versus having to pay for it over time, pay a big chunk today, it does change the dynamic. It does affect value for antiques. And so the other thing that we see driving value is the uniqueness of the item. If you have a generic table and chairs from the 1920s, it's just used furniture. Whereas if you have a high-end dining room table and chairs from the 1920s, then it will probably have a premium value because it cannot be found readily in the marketplace. We just signed an estate over in the Manheims area of Kansas City, has a wonderful Art Deco dining room set. The cloud chairs, there are 6 of them, beautiful, beautiful deco furnishings that should bring good money because you can find kind of similar, but nowhere near this type of furniture made today. Some of the details involved in this set of furniture are different than you can find in a machine mass-produced system today. And so that should find several buyers who would be really excited to have it because it's a good size, it's good scale, it has good condition and great lines. And so those are things that will set that dining room set apart from middle of the road dining room set from the time frame. And think about it in terms of today. If you go to Nebraska Furniture Mart and go to their open floor area, those prices of furniture are very, very reasonable. If you go to their high-end design center, those pieces of furniture seem expensive, but they're also better looking. They may not be made better, but they have a more classic style or a more contemporary style. And so you'll find that those pieces of furniture are more expensive, which in turn will create value going down the road. One of the last things we'll talk about is things that are expensive new, generally speaking, have more value, retain more value in the used, secondary, vintage, and antique markets. Meaning that if you went out and bought a Louis Vuitton purse today and a Michael Kors purse today, in 30 years, the Louis Vuitton purse will almost assuredly be worth more money than the Michael Kors purse. Nothing wrong with the Michael Kors purse. It holds everything just as well. But everything about the Louis Vuitton purse costs more money today. There are less sold today. And so when you go to sell it in the future, there'll be more people apt to be interested in buying it because they know what it costs new. They couldn't afford to buy it new. They couldn't afford to spend $15,000 or $20,000 on a Hermes Birkin. And so they will look to the secondary market and pay $5,000 to $7,000 and feel like they got a good value. It's still a very expensive purse, but it's still very reasonable compared to the original price point. So a value and cost of what something was originally has a direct impact on what something will sell for in the secondary market. Tiffany sterling is going to be worth more in the secondary market, valued higher than a piece of nondescript sterling silver. And so those kinds of factors, if your parents bought everything at Montgomery Ward's back in the 50s, odds are those are just kind of tchotchke things today. They're not going to increase in value. I looked at an estate just this week, had beautiful pieces they bought, a nice collection of clocks, but they bought them in since they got married 60 years ago. And they were nice, they were decorative. Most of them were worth between $200 and $500 in the auction market. And they were upset with that. I said, well, how much did you pay for them? Did you pay more than $500 for any of them when you were buying them? He said, probably not. I said, so how do you expect them to rise in value? And they're just used clocks. So you have to think about everything around it. It's not just the item itself, it's everything around it, the conversation around it that can be had. And so those are all kinds of things that will drive value. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them here, send us a direct message or send us an email. Fall is finally here in Kansas City. See, I'm wearing a sweater today with my jacket because it got down to 49 degrees here last night in Kansas City. So we're really happy to have fall weather here. Can put mums out in front here at the office and get rid of the tired flowers from the spring and summer. They're looking kind of tired. We do this every week. If you have any questions, please post comments here. Send us a direct message. If you're watching on YouTube, post a comment below. You can always drop us an email at info@kcauctioncompany.com. Letter K, letter C, auction company, spelled out, .com. Give us a phone call at 816-283-3633. Next Friday, we'll come back in here and talk about something else as it relates to the antiques, art, and auction business. Otherwise, have a great weekend. Hopefully, fall sticks around here and joins you where you are as well. Have a great afternoon and great weekend.